Robert Kiyosaki, Dexter Yeager, Alan Pease, and Hewlett Packard spoke in Ontario, California. They said that there was a two boys. They lived in this town and they needed water, and their water was at the bottom of this hill. So one of the boys, they went up to the top of the hill and they seen how far they had to carry water, so they hired half of the town. They'd carry buckets down from the top of that hill to the bottom of that hill. And the other one, he went off and he went to college and he learned how to build a pipe from the top of that hill to the bottom so the whole entire town can have water at the same time. The step that I'm thinking as Lakota Oyate Tioshpae is we're not going to build a pipeline and we're not going to carry no water. We're going to put our teepees around the lake. I believe in our people. I really, really do. I believe that our people are smart. And I believe that our loved ones, they can do anything they want if they put their mind and heart to it.
All right. So, education is obviously important. I guess we can move on over. The OSD Department of Public Safety, that's another issue. It's a big issue across the reservation. How do you feel about that?
Arlo, when this year, as I have been home, I had 26 inmates give me a letter from the Pine Ridge Jail and asked me to do a walk through the jail. I found that there was 2 toilets that were covered with plastic.
Which jail are we talking about?
The Pine Ridge Jail.
Okay.
In Pine Ridge.
The adult offenders facility.
Yes.
Okay.
And when I did that walkthrough, it smelled like sewer. And so I went back to the office and I was talking to a few of my coworkers, and we had discovered that sewer not only makes you sick but can kill you. And these issues really need to be dealt with, or the jail needs to be closed down until that problem is fixed. That's another onerous fiduciary duty that is neglected. It's basically, it's also, according to my studies, and I should have brought my laptop in, but I didn't. The jail judges and lawyers, police officers, and prosecutors are on what is called a scheme to get people to pay them money so they can get a retirement when they retire. So like as being a law advocate, and if you ever went to jail and I got you out and I charged you, say, $5,000, and he paid me $4,500, I would take the $4,500 and put it in my pocket. The other $500 would go into my savings. So when I reached about 40, 50, 60 years old, from all those people who went to jail, I'd have that saved up and I can retire on that.
All right. Well, you talk about savings, and let's move on to, the economy. Right now, the Oglala Sioux tribe is roughly around $80 million in debt. What is your role as the Oglala Sioux tribe president to answer that?
If I were to be, and I'd like to be, the new president, I haven't been home. I recently came home a year and a half ago, and that debt's not my problem. It belongs to the past representatives who were here, and they need to own up to their spending budget. And if they can't pay it off, then they need to be tended to just like anybody else who does wrong. Bad man removed, or bad man removed for life. Once again, that would go back to the American subject to subject to the American rules and regulations of the treaties. Because it's not me, doing our people wrong. I didn't just come in here one day and voila, I'm, did our people, like I said, I didn't do our people wrong. I came back, and the problem has been here for 40 years, and it hasn't been fixed. And so, yes, they do need to be subject to the American rules and regulations. That means that if it were up to me, I'd like to see them in jail for doing our people wrong. That's just the bottom line. I'm sorry to say that.
Do you understand that the role of the Oglala Sioux Tribe president inherits this responsibility?
Yes, but the Oglala Sioux tribal president can also make a choice to, like right now, I don't have to do the interview, I can walk out, and I don't have to be a president, I can leave, but I choose to stand up, and I choose to make a right decision, or I could make a wrong decision. And these decisions are, real friends will help you to do good. People who support what you're doing will help you make a change. But people who don't care about you or your family will see to it that anything and everything you say and do, they'll destroy you. And we're not supposed to be like that here. But somehow, some way, that happened.
Okay, well, what about economic development? I mean, as we talk about it, what do you propose? I mean, in order for us to thrive as a people here on the Pine Ridge Reservation, and as role as the Oglala Sioux Tribe president, what do you propose the tribe does to improve its economic status?
I've spoke to different tribes around the United States, and there is a lot of tribes willing to help Pine Ridge. Our tribe by no means is broke at all, according to the documents that I have. And what I see is if we invite 564 federal recognized tribes to Rapid City, and we invite the federal government, and we ask like for instance, I'm gonna use a small example. If I were out of gas and I took 3 gallons to get to Rapid, and I ask all 3 of you men for 1 gallon, and we all pitched in for 3 gallons so I can get to whether Rapid City or Pine Ridge or wherever my car takes me for more gas, you would help me, right? In this case, we need help in homes, in water, and health care, and we need to start with, what I'm trying to get at here is, if we invited 564 federal recognized tribes and the federal government to Pine Ridge or to Rapid City, and we discuss these issues, our loved ones that are from these different reservations will come and help us. We don't have to beg for $1 million here or there from one person. However, the federal government is obligated to helping us build homes and taking care of our loved ones in schools and in hospitals. And when they're in jail, they're obligated to make sure that that jail is running smoothly. And all of these have been neglected, so it's going to take a lot of work. It's one person can't do it all, but I'm willing to do the best I can. And even if I'm not elected as president, I will still do the very best I can with what I have.
All right. Well, you know, there are a lot of other questions I'm going to move into here. I mean, what is your background? I mean, we talked just a tad about treaties a little while ago, but what is your background? What do you know about treaties?
I know that treaties are supreme law of the land. I know that there was no native Indian to ever make a decision in the treaties whatsoever. I know that in 43 presidents since the first president, George Washington, there is no Indian to ever be a president. I know that if the United States wanted to have an Indian as a president, they can do it, but they don't. And I know that in the United Nations, according to the Tetuan Treaty Council, Garvard Goodplume, you know, our treaties are law of the land, but they're being neglected here. And the only ones who can enforce those treaties is when you take a stand. I know that the government says that tribal government has no say in treaties. except the Treaty Council. However, as the Tetuan Treaty and the 7 council fires, we are still indigenous people of this land. So yes, we do have say over those treaties, all treaties, matter of fact. Together as an entire nation, we have say. But when you're blocked out as one person and they say, well, Arlo, you're only one person, so you don't have supreme authority. They're disclaiming your hierarchy, and because they're saying that you're not a representative. But in reality, you are.
Okay. Well, whenever you think about treaties, and I'm going to ask you a tough question now.
Okay.
What is your standpoint on legalization of alcohol? Because it's for every single administration, this has come to light.
Yes, that's a really good question. It's not a tough question. It's a good question, and I thank you for asking me that. I feel very confident and very positive about it, and that is, if Salt Lake City can lower alcohol to 3.2 beer, then why can't Nebraska do it for us? Where did Salt Lake City get the authority to lower alcohol for the state of Utah? Exactly, yeah. And so if they can do it, 564 federal recognized tribes can also lower alcohol on all of our reservations, not just Pine Ridge or White Clay. But that's practicing sovereign, SOVRAN. That's putting your supreme authority out there, letting people know that, hey, we don't want alcohol, and like vodka and the juices and anything high gravity or whatever can be sold in liquor stores, but at that time only sold for a period of time, and ask the stores to close them after that time. That would help us to help our people to live.
Okay, so you continue the ban.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, our tribal police answer to 85%. Richard Greenwald sat in this room here and explained to everybody that the majority of their officers' calls are alcohol related. 80 to 85% of the calls are alcohol related. Now, if you continue the ban, what do you do about the 85 to 80% alcohol related issues that are facing us? Because there's domestic violence, alcoholism, child abuse, rape, there's all of that there. Still, what do you do to answer all that?
I'm not a genius, Arlo. I'm not going to claim to be a genius. But I'm going to claim that, our people also need to take responsibility and learn how to say no to alcohol. We can't make you stay sober. We can't make you not do drugs. And as adults, every one of us are told that not to drink with your kids, whether that person is pregnant or not pregnant. From the time you're old enough to understand till the time you die, you know that responsibility that you are not to be drinking, but it happens. And none of us are perfect, and we're all looking for that answer. And the only way that I thought for the answer to helping the police department is lower the alcohol to 3.2 and closing the liquor stores early. That would help. There really is no way to stop somebody from drinking.
What exactly do you mean by 3.2? Is that drinks or?
3.2 is like lowering the alcohol down to water, practically almost water.
Are you talking about the actual drink, diluting it?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking
yes.
about?
Diluting the alcohol down to what is almost water, half, like Salt Lake City sells 3.2, and they have to buy more alcohol to get drunk, and instead of having one case, they may have to buy 3 or 4 more cases to get that one effect as that first case of beer that they bought.
Okay. All right, so, I mean, we have programs. We have a number of programs that are out there that are focused on making people see that alcohol is not a good thing. We could go through the entire list right now, but what is your proposal to get people to understand that? Because, you just told me right now, we need to get people to understand that, but what do we could do to get them to understand that?
You can't make somebody understand something who's an alcoholic. But if you take the alcohol out of the alcoholic beverage and lower it, sooner or later they're going to get tired of drinking alcohol that tastes like water, and they're going to want to sober up. Once they sober up, then they're going to want to understand and learn something different. Well, as they're learning something different, they'll then teach their kids to live a better life. This is the way I think for our people.
All right. Well, let's move on over to Lakota language and culture. How important is this to you as your role as a candidate for the Oglala Sioux Tribe president?
Lakota language is our number one language. Our culture should also be number one. I believe that in every school, we should be teaching our children how to speak Lakota and to sing in Lakota. Never letting our children forget who and where they come from and why we're still here. We're a proud nation. We're the only one in this country who has ever defeated the federal government. Last night I went to the powwow and I seen the dancers, and they sure made those eagle feathers look good, like they were still alive there dancing. I love that about our people, Arlo, and I know our children do too. And I pray that they never ever forget that. That's really important. Most important before education is our traditional ways.
So language and culture take precedent over education?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Lakota language for me, just to give you an example, is a sense of identity. It gives you who you are, and there is values and pillars that are embedded within the language. What sort of values and what sort of lessons that you have in your pursuit? Because I know you introduced yourself in Lakota, and you said it's the number one language, but
yes,
only 15% of the actual tribe speak fluently.
Arlo, from my understanding, one of my aunties, they described to me when I was growing up that we should never forget where we come from. And my aunt, she taught me how to, she taught me the peyote ways, and she taught me the peyote songs. And she used to carry water, and she still does carry water. And she makes the 4 food groups for the sun dances and the peyote Native American church. And she speaks the Lakota language. And what I love most about my aunt is that when she says she loves me, she always says it in Lakota. And that means more to me than anything she has ever done for me in my whole entire life. I believe that as Lakota people, that when you're taught how to carry water, to pray, and to cook buffalo meat, or cut deer meat, or dry corn, or make patties, or to take care of that water, pray for it, that everybody who drinks it will be healthy. And those who think no one cares, that you're remembered in that prayer. That all of those things right there should never ever be forgotten. And I pray for our people in Lakota, and then I break it off in English language. And I often cry as to why would somebody try to beat and kill our people to speak English, and then turn around and still be here on our lands. We are very forgiving people. We're very loving and caring, not just for our families and ourselves, but other people included.
So, I mean, what, all those things that you talked about just now, all those values that you just talked about, things that you've learned that have brought you to who you are today, obviously, that's something that you want our children to have, right?
Yes, I would love our babies. After my grandma and dad died, my auntie who raised me, I love her very much and I care for her with my life. And I remember when my grandma was alive, she prayed for our people and she cried for our people to live. And she said it was never supposed to be this way. She said that we're supposed to live a long, healthy, prosperous life, but today isn't that way.
Okay, so, well, what do you propose? How do you revive the language?
Well, one thing I like about Kili and I like about you, Arlo, is that you speak Lakota in the morning and you play those peyote songs, our Sundance songs, our powwow songs, and you encourage everybody throughout the whole reservation. I would like that to continue and never stop. I would like to hear that, morning, noon, and night. I'd like our schools to start teaching the Lakota language in the schools, and stores like Sioux Nation, the tribal building, and across the reservation, every building have at least one Lakota word attached to it on the outside so we can read it and we can start learning it, because that is who our true identity is and that is where we come from.
Okay, Joann, it's obviously it's a big thing, and I don't have too many questions left over, but I am a little curious. Our men's another big issue here on the Pine Ridge Reservation. When you graduate high school, or as you become an adult and you become 18 years old, our men have a couple of options. Well, I guess they got three. In reality, the majority. You either go into you go into some service. You're going to join the Army, the Navy, the Marines, or the Coast Guard, or you go to jail. You end up in a federal prison or a state prison, or you're back on the reservation. And for the majority of the men out there, those are their options. How do you answer that?
Arlo, when I buried my cousin here a couple weeks ago, I buried him with some young boys, and those boys knew how to work a shovel. Right now we're doing this KILI radio show and we are videotaping, and I have two gentlemen here with me, and they're here to not just learn how you work a radio station but also how to work a camera, and maybe that our men can learn how to do things in this way, whether it's working a shovel, post hole digger, being a firefighter. I don't believe that our men should just sit here and think that they have to go to prison or federal prison or die. No, I don't believe that. I believe that our men are strong and they're outgoing, and if you ask them to do something, they'll do it, like carry groceries, paint the walls, build a new home. Somebody just has to give them the tools to do it, and these tools are not here. And I would like to see people come in and help our young men, like the two gentlemen, and even yourself. If we brought in some paint, all of us would grab a paintbrush, even including myself. I had a young lady who recently had a baby. She's my niece. She too helped pick up a shovel and help bury my cousin Olivia Freeman, and she too picked up a paintbrush and helped paint. We even have little kids that are 7 and 8 years old. When I made my sign to run for tribal president, these little 7 and 8-year-olds were asking, "Auntie, can I help you paint?" And they were so happy, real happy like that. So I like to see that happiness in our people, and I believe that with that kind of attitude that we can build all 9 districts. with one another. But I don't know, Arlo, what it is and why it is our people are fighting among each other. I think it's, maybe just been down for so long that you need something to do. And I don't know how to fix it, but I do know that if we started jobs here and we had people working together, we can better our future and our men and women alike.
All right. Well, obviously, there's a lot of topics we missed. We didn't talk about women's health. We didn't talk about. There's tons of stuff we didn't talk about. Technologies, land. There's a ton of stuff we didn't talk about. But I do need to mention that right now we are closing at the end of our interview here. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to close out your pitch.
All right, thank you, Arlo. To our KILI listeners out there, I want to say thank you for allowing me the last 50 minutes to talk and the questions. I'd like to thank each and every one of those who allowed me into your house and to make videos. They are on YouTube, some are on Facebook, and they did go worldwide. And those of you I didn't make it to your house, I haven't forgot you, and I will get back to you. There's just one song before we leave. Like I always say, at least learn one song, and I'd like to sing it to our people. And it's the Sundance song, and it's the one to ask Him, Creator, to have pity on us, to help our people to live. I want you to all live. I want you to be happy, and I want you to have good health and good life for you and your families. It hurts to see our loved ones when they go back home. So I'm going to stand up and sing this song, Arlo. Atewa katanka Yahweh Yoheyo. Atewa katanka Hushemaleyo. Oyate zani chipelo. Heya oye waelo. Heyo. Atewa katanka Yahweh Yoheyo. Atewa katanka Hushemaleyo. Oyate zani chipelo. Heya oye waelo. Heyo. Atewa katanka Yahweh Yoheyo. Atewa katanka Hushemaleyo. Oyate zari chipelo. Heya oye waelo. Heyo. Atewa katanka Yahweh Yoheyo. Atewa katanka Hushemaleyo. Oyate zani chipelo. Heya oye waelo. Heyo. Naho. Wopila.
All right, we're off.
All right.
All right, well, thank you very much.